Have you ever been in a job interview and suddenly the interviewer asks, "How do you prioritize your work?"
Yes. And honestly, I never know what they really want to hear. Are they asking how I organize my schedule or how I manage my time?
That's what most people think. But this question isn't really about your calendar or your to-do list.
Really? Then what are they actually asking?
They're trying to understand how you think. When everything feels important, how do you decide what comes first? Can you stay calm when work becomes busy? Can they trust you to make good decisions without someone telling you what to do?
Wow, I never thought about it that way. No wonder this question feels so difficult.
The good news is you don't need a perfect answer. You just need a simple structure that helps you explain how you work. So, listeners, stay with us until the end, because today we'll show you a simple 3-step method that interviewers love to hear. And once you learn it, this question will never feel confusing again.
That sounds exactly what I need. Let's get started.
Now let's learn the first step. And honestly, this is where many candidates give a weak answer.
Really? What do they usually say?
Many people answer like this: I just do my tasks one by one, or I finish the easiest task first.
That sounds reasonable. What's wrong with that?
Nothing is wrong, but it doesn't tell the interviewer how you make decisions. Remember, this question isn't really about being busy. It's about knowing what matters most.
So they want to know how I choose which task comes first?
Imagine this. You arrive at work on Monday morning. You have 5 different tasks. A customer is waiting for a reply. Your manager needs a report by the afternoon. You have several emails to answer, and you also have a team meeting later today. Can you finish everything at once?
Of course not. That's impossible.
Right. So the interviewer wants to know how you decide what to do first, not randomly, not by guessing, but by thinking logically.
So how should I think about it?
Keep it simple. Ask yourself 3 questions. First, which task is the most important? Second, which task has the closest deadline? Third, which task has the biggest impact if I don't finish it now?
That already sounds much clearer.
Let's look at an example. Imagine you have 2 tasks. The first one is preparing a weekly report. The second is helping a customer who has a serious problem. Which one would you do first?
I think I would help the customer first.
Why?
Because the customer is waiting, and solving the problem quickly could protect the company's reputation.
That's exactly the kind of thinking interviewers want to hear. You aren't choosing the easier task. You're choosing the more important one.
So prioritizing doesn't always mean following my schedule.
That's right. Sometimes your schedule changes, but your priorities should always make sense.
So what's a good answer I can use in an interview?
Here's a simple structure. You can say, when I have several tasks, I first identify which task is the most important. Then I check the deadlines. After that, I focus on the task that has the biggest impact before moving on to the others.
That's surprisingly simple.
Because simple answers are often the strongest answers. You don't need complicated vocabulary. You don't need long explanations. You simply need to show that you can think clearly and make good decisions.
I think that's what I misunderstood before. I thought this question was testing my time management.
Time management is only part of it. What interviewers really want to see is your judgment. Can you recognize what matters most? Can you make the right decision when work becomes busy? If your answer shows that, you're already making a strong impression.
I like that. So prioritizing isn't about doing everything first. It's about doing the right thing first.
And now that you know how to decide what matters most, let's move to the second step, because making priorities is only the beginning. The next challenge is, what happens when those priorities suddenly change? Now, let's move to the second step, and this is something that happens in almost every workplace.
What's that?
Priorities change.
You mean even after I decide what to do first?
You make a plan, everything looks organized, then suddenly your manager asks for something urgent, a customer needs help, or an unexpected problem appears.
That happens all the time. So what should I do?
This is where many candidates make another mistake. They think being organized means following the original plan no matter what.
Isn't that a good thing?
Not always, because in real life, work doesn't always go according to plan. Being organized doesn't mean nothing changes. It means you know how to adjust when things do change.
So being flexible is part of being organized?
Interviewers want to know whether you can stay calm when priorities change, not whether you have the perfect schedule.
That makes sense. So how can I explain that?
Start by showing that you have a simple system. For example, you can say, I usually make a to-do list at the beginning of the day. It helps me organize my work and keep track of my priorities.
That sounds easy. Most people can do that.
Simple habits often make the biggest difference. But here's the important part. Don't stop there. Tell the interviewer what you do when something urgent happens.
Because that's what they're really testing.
Yes. Imagine this. You spend the whole morning working on an important presentation. Then your manager says, I need a report within the next hour. What would you do?
I wouldn't panic. I'd stop for a moment, look at both tasks, and decide which one needs immediate attention.
That's exactly the kind of answer interviewers like. Notice something.
So, it's okay to change my plan?
Absolutely. In fact, sometimes changing your plan is the best decision. The important thing is that you change it for the right reason, not because you feel overwhelmed, but because the situation has changed. You could say, I like to keep my work organized by planning my tasks. If something urgent comes up, I review my priorities, adjust my schedule, and focus on the most important task first.
That's very natural, and it's easy to remember.
Remember, interviewers aren't expecting a perfect employee. They're looking for someone who can stay organized, adapt to change, and continue working without losing focus.
I think that's something many people forget. They think being organized means sticking to one plan forever.
And that's why their answers often sound unrealistic. In every workplace, things change. Deadlines move. New tasks appear. Unexpected problems happen. The people who succeed are the ones who can adjust without becoming frustrated.
So here's the biggest lesson from this step. Being organized doesn't mean everything goes exactly as planned. It means I know how to adapt when the plan changes.
And once you can do that, you're already showing one of the qualities that every employer values. But there's still one more step, because sometimes you have too many urgent tasks, and you simply can't do them all at the same time. So what should you do then? Let's find out in the final step. Now, let's move to the final step. And this is the one many candidates forget.
Really? What's that?
Communication.
Communication? I thought this question was about working independently.
It is. But being independent doesn't mean working silently. Sometimes you have two urgent tasks. Both seem important, and both have tight deadlines.
So, how do I decide?
If you're not sure, don't guess. Communicate. Interviewers want to know that you're willing to ask questions instead of making the wrong decision.
Can you give me an example?
Of course. Imagine this. Your manager asks you to finish a report before noon. A few minutes later, another manager asks you to prepare a presentation immediately. Now you have two urgent tasks. What would you do?
I wouldn't try to finish both at the same time. I'd politely ask which task should be the priority.
That shows good communication and good judgment. It also shows that you respect your team's priorities.
So asking for clarification doesn't make me look weak.
Not at all. In fact, it makes you look professional because professional people don't make assumptions. They ask, they confirm, and they keep everyone informed.
So what's a good answer I can use?
You can say, if I have several urgent tasks, I communicate with my manager to confirm which task should come first. Then I focus on the highest priority and keep everyone updated on my progress.
That's simple, but it sounds very professional.
Remember, great employees don't just work hard. They communicate clearly, make smart decisions, and know when to ask for guidance.
So now I have the complete answer. First, decide what matters most. Then, stay organized and adapt. And finally, communicate when priorities change.
Perfect! Now, let's put all 3 steps together and see how they sound in a real job interview.
How do you prioritize your work?
When I have several tasks, I first identify which task is the most important and which one has the closest deadline. I always try to focus on the work that has the biggest impact on the team or the customer. To stay organized, I usually make a to-do list and review my priorities throughout the day. If something urgent comes up, I'm flexible. I adjust my schedule and focus on the new priority without losing sight of my other responsibilities. If I'm ever unsure which tasks should come first, I communicate with my manager to confirm the priority. That helps me avoid misunderstanding and make sure I'm working on the right task. I believe good prioritization isn't just about working faster, it's about making good decisions, staying organized, and communicating clearly when priorities change.
That's a very practical and well-structured answer. Thank you, Jack.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
Today, you learned that this question isn't really about having the perfect schedule. It's about showing how you think when you have more than one task. Remember these 3 simple steps. First, identify what matters most. Look at the importance, the deadline, and the impact. Second, stay organized, but be flexible, because priorities can change, and good employees know how to adapt. Third, communicate clearly when you're not sure. Don't guess. Ask questions, confirm priorities, and keep your team informed.
I like this framework. It's simple, easy to remember, and easy to use in a real interview.
You don't need perfect English. You don't need long answers. You just need clear thinking, simple English, and a confident structure.
If you enjoyed today's lesson, please like this video, comment below, how do you usually prioritize your work? And don't forget to subscribe to Focus English with CC for more job interview and workplace English lessons.
Thanks for learning with us today. We'll see you in the next lesson. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.